Gabriella's daughter Thea was diagnosed with a terminal genetic condition when she was just 1.
To find out that your child has a condition which means they are going to die, but to have to continue living with that knowledge, there will come a time when you won't have them with you anymore, and that is really, really difficult.
During those final months of her daughter's life, she turned to the Forget-Me-Not Hospice in Huddersfield for help and support. She says it was a lifeline for their family.
It was full of happiness and joy and happy families and happy kids living their lives and doing normal things that families do. And there's no focus on death. And I'm glad that I didn't spend the years that I had her focusing and worrying on what I would do when she was gone. And I was able to really enjoy that time.
But today, bosses have said hospices like this are at risk of closure unless they get more funding from the government. Like many places, the Forget-Me-Not Hospice only receives 3% of its funding from the NHS. The rest of it, nearly £4 million, they get from fundraising.
The reality is that families like Gabriella's depend on how good we are at shaking buckets and how much bric-a-brac we sell in our shops. And that means that the NHS need to be able to properly commission the services that we're providing for these very vulnerable people at a really dark time in their lives, so that they get the most out of the time that they have with their children and they're really well supported when that comes to an end.
In a statement, NHS England said funding for children's end-of-life care is going up and is set to more than double within the next 5 years, with up to £25 million going into care. But for Gabriella, it's only the start. She's written a letter calling on the government to guarantee this funding and ensure that all families like hers can make memories with their children. Catherine Walker, ITV News in Huddersfield.